This is a strange world filled with magic. Everyone can awaken their own magical talent. Even children as young as 6 or 7 can use magic skillfully. But there is one boy who is different from the rest. Jack, even at the age of 15, still couldn't use any magic at all. He didn't even have a trace of mana in his body. But his childhood friend Yuno was a once-in-a-century magical prodigy. There was an insurmountable gap between the two. Even though everyone mocked Jack, he never gave up on himself. Since he couldn't use magic, Jack decided to train his physical abilities to the extreme. To catch up to Yuno's footsteps, Jack began training desperately. He did 1,000 one-handed push UPS every day, and 1,000 sit UPS, day after day, year after year. Soon, the kingdom's annual magic grimoire ceremony began. Everyone was full of anticipation, because as long as one received a grimoire's recognition, it meant they had the qualifications to become a mage. This was also Jack's chance to change his fate. Amid the cheers of the crowd, the ceremony finally began. Countless brilliant grimoires floated in the air, searching for their chosen owners. Many people received their own grimoires at this moment, but Jack was an exception. Not a single grimoire was willing to choose him. Seeing this, the people around him mocked him without restraint. Even the villagers felt ashamed of him. But at that moment, a golden grimoire suddenly appeared in the sky. The surroundings instantly became dazzlingly bright. Everyone was shocked to discover that it was the legendary four-leaf clover grimoire, and the one it chose was Yuno. This meant Yuno would become the strongest magic emperor on the continent, because the first magic emperor also possessed a four-leaf grimoire. Everyone looked at Yuno with admiration. At that moment, the radiant Yuno stood in stark contrast to the heartbroken Jack, but Jack still refused to give up. He swore he would become Yuno's greatest rival, but Yuno didn't pay it any mind, and simply left the scene quietly. With the four-leaf grimoire choosing Yuno, the gap between them grew even wider. But even though everyone mocked him, Jack didn't care at all. He insisted on fighting against this unfair fate. In just 6 or 7 days, the news that the four-leaf grimoire had chosen Yuno had already spread throughout the entire city. Yuno instantly became the center of everyone's attention. He also attracted the jealousy of others. At that moment, 2 people blocked Yuno's path. They foolishly launched a magic attack. A massive flame shot straight toward Yuno, but he simply raised his hand slightly, not even using defensive magic, and effortlessly neutralized their full power attack. A magical genius with maxed out talent became even more terrifyingly strong. After receiving the four-leaf grimoire's recognition, just as the enemies were about to attack again, the surrounding walls suddenly changed. Countless chains shot out from them, binding everyone present tightly. The one who appeared was the infamous thief Rev Chi. He snatched the four-leaf grimoire away, planning to sell it for a high price on the black market. Not only that, Rev Chi was a complete madman. He greatly enjoyed the feeling of crushing geniuses. Just as he was about to strike, a familiar figure appeared in time. Seeing Jack, Rev Chi mocked him as a worthless failure unworthy of any grimoire. Jack had no choice but to try using his physical strength against magic, but reality was cruel. Although Jack was agile enough, against such overwhelming power, all his efforts were futile. After barely dodging a few spells, he was ultimately pierced by the iron chains. Rev Chi stepped on Jack's shoulder, and his chains sensed that Jack didn't have even a trace of mana. Rev Chi sneered and said, "A worthless trash without mana, and you still dream of becoming the magic emperor? What a ridiculous fantasy." At this moment, Jack's body was gradually losing consciousness. Hearing Rev Chi's words, he completely broke down. No matter how hard he tried, no matter how much he wanted to change reality, he could never possess magic. Jack closed his eyes in despair, ready to accept death. At that moment, Yuno suddenly shouted loudly,
皇帝になるのは俺だからだ。そいつは負け犬じゃねえ。そいつはアスタは俺のライバルだ。
Jack snapped awake instantly. Yuno's words reignited hope within him. He refused to stop here. Jack looked forward with firm determination. He would defeat Rev Chi. He would protect his brother. He would become the future magic emperor. At that moment, a grimoire marked with 5 leaves descended from the sky. As the grimoire slowly opened, a massive black sword appeared. Rev Chi couldn't believe what he was seeing. He had never seen a 5-leaf grimoire before. If the 3-leaf clover represents honesty, hope, and love, then the 4-leaf clover carries an extra touch of luck. But within the 5-leaf clover dwells a demon.